Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'll be showing you how to record in your camera on your A7C II, and this would work with basically any Sony camera that has the new menu system. But let's go ahead and jump into it. As you can see right here in front of us, I have my cheat sheet which explains everything and exactly how you should set your settings if you're using a certain frame rate. So what is a frame rate? So a frame rate is this right here where it says record frame rate, and we have 60p, 30p, 24p, and 120p. And what do all of those mean? Well, everything has a unique thing about it, and I basically set it over here to the right on what those are. So if you want to shoot like a movie style video, you're going to want to go to 24 frames per second. If you want to do just vlogging or a family video, you want to do 30 frames per second. If you want to do family video with possible slow motion later, then you're going to want to shoot in 60p. And also we have extra slow motion, and that's 120p. So that's basically the settings. I have my aperture set to 2.8 on everything. And the reason why I did that is because I usually like a really hard blur in the back of my videos, and that's basically what this does. So the lower this number is, the more blur you're going to get in the background. I know sometimes some of us have lenses that can't go this low, so that's okay. Just drop it as low as you can, and you're most likely going to get the best picture you can out of your lens. And right here to the shutter, obviously I have it double what the frames per second is. So that's 50, obviously, because it's 24, and then you got 30, it's 60, you got 60 at 125. The reason why it's 125 because the camera actually doesn't do 120. And I'm not sure if any of these are wrong, but if they are, just double check on your camera and just always try to double this as best as you can. So now we're going to go over here and talk about the ISO. So the ISO is kind of like the light that you're going to let in your camera. And the reason why I started at 200 is because on the A7C II, that's kind of like the base number it was starting me at. And the reason why I go to 800 as the max is because that's usually the safe zone before you start getting noise in your camera. I know the A7C II could actually do a lot better than 800, so you could actually even crank that up a little bit more. But my only advice is be careful with that, because you might get noise in your picture, and basically noise is like static that doesn't look good, and it just looks really grainy. Alrighty, so if you did want to set all these settings in your camera and you're wondering how to do that, I recommend just jumping into your file format. And with this setting, I jumped into regular 1080p HD. That's like a standard you watch on your phone and you watch on TV and everything. But if you did want a higher quality, you could jump up to 4K. For this video, we're just going to do HD just to make it easy. So when you jump into HD and you click right over here on the 24p, you'll see all of these record frame rates pop up. And depending on what kind of video you want to shoot, which is basically these here, you'll just click whatever it is that you're wanting, and then you'll just look at the back of your camera, and this is what it will look like. But if you don't see this because you're not using the A7C II and you're using a different camera, technically this is what you'll see when you go to preview your image on the camera. You'll see this is going to be your shutter, this is going to be your aperture, and this is going to be your ISO. And you're probably wondering if your image is too bright or too dark, what is going on. I set the settings that Freddie recommended, and they do not look good. So going from there, what you're going to want to do first is probably crank this up if you need more light. So we're going to start with the ISO, and we're going to crank it up close to 800. But if the image starts turning white, then you're going to want to bring it back down until it looks good in camera. So once you feel like, hey, the image looks good because I'm outside, then just leave the ISO where it's at. But if you feel like it's too dark, then crank it up. If it's too bright, then bring it down. And usually it could be too bright because we have our aperture so low, and that's normal. But usually you don't want to mess with the shutter. The reason why is because that will affect your video. If you ever watch an army movie, usually if you crank up the shutter, you get like really choppy footage. So if you are shooting an army movie and you want fast action pace, then you would crank up your shutter. But if you want just normal cinematic movie looking stuff, you want to just keep it at 50, and then you'll want to keep this one at 60, keep this at 125, and this one at 125 for 120. I usually shoot 125 for 120. You're probably wondering, why isn't that one doubled? Well, because I usually don't crank it up to double what it goes, and I usually get some pretty good smooth slow motion out of it. So I think that's about it. Just follow these steps and most likely you'll get what you're looking for in camera. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll definitely make another video kind of showing you more steps along the way. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Stay blessed, don't stress, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.